What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's having an excellent Monday. In terms of football news, it is coming out fast and furious. And when it comes to the Jets, candidates for the general manager and head coach are being revealed like every 20 minutes, which is a credit to the team. You know, Woody Johnson got the 33rd team involved to help them assemble a list of qualified candidates. And they've been diligent, they've been comprehensive, and they seem like they're very well prepared and they're quick to strike. So the list of names varies from experience to not so much. There's names you like, there's names you don't like, there's names you don't know. When it comes to the general manager search, it depends on what you're really looking for. And I find reactions to names so interesting because a lot of times you know the name, you know the team. Do you honestly know what they do in the building? Like, I remember the Jets hired Joe Douglas, and that was a slam dunk, right? No brainer. Mike McCagnon, they brought him. Oh, he's a scouting guy. He knows this, he knows that. Like, you can basically justify any hire based on what you want to believe or based on what you want to know, or if you want to regurgitate somebody else's opinion that you read on social media. So Mike Greenberg with the Buccaneers is a guy that's a lifelong Jet fan. He interned with Mike Tannenbaum with the Jets. But if you look at his resume, he's more of a cap guy, a contracts guy, where it's like, okay, he's a very qualified guy, very capable guy, but what is his ability to bring in that scouting and that scouting department underneath him? All the guys that evaluate the players and help give this new head coach the best assets to have a team that's, able to contend. That's a question. Like, and I don't know. Like, I don't know what his ties are, but like when you first look at him, he reminds me of Tannenbaum, to be honest with you, where he's like the numbers guy. Okay, if you hire a numbers guy, you better get very good, a director of personnel and all these guys underneath you. And in my opinion, anybody in the building right now has to go, I want to start fresh. Mike Borgonzi with the Chiefs, where you look at him, you look at the Chiefs, an organization that's been dominant for how long now, assistant GM, and he's a personnel guy where he has that resume of a lot of, scouting and evaluation, stuff like that, which makes you feel a little more confident. And it's like, okay, if you have a guy like that, then you need your cap guy, right? You look at Alec Hallaby, I think his name is, with the Eagles, where everybody's like, oh, we don't want Joe Douglas 2.0. You look at the Eagles, man, how they manage the cap and how year in year they stock their roster. It's hard to ignore what he's doing there. So in terms of that, he's a guy you got to take serious. But for me, it's like, I'm not going to give any hot takes because I don't know any of these guys. It's like, but you want to look at what you're looking for in the general manager, what organization are they coming from, and do they have a lot of experience? If you're looking for a guy that's been there, done that, Thomas Dimitroff fits that, he fits the mold perfectly. Like he's an established, proven general manager that's done a lot of really good things. Obviously, everybody gets fired for a reason, but he's a quality candidate. And then you have the guys that are less experienced, which, the Louis Riddicks and Jim Nagy's and guys like that, which they all get consideration, but you kind of rank who you want. In terms of the coaches, this video is being made with the assumption that Vrabel is going to the Patriots, which I think he is. Then after that, the names are a lot of interesting names, a lot of ones that we hope they were going to be on the list. Brian Flores, a request to interview him. I think he's a guy that you got to be interested in based on, experience in terms of he coached the Dolphins, no nonsense guy. He climbed he got fired, he built himself back up. You got to figure he'll reinvent himself and learn some lessons and have a chip on his shoulder to prove everybody wrong and be a great head coach. You have a guy like that as experience. Then you go with, Aaron Glenn, who I made a video about this morning. You saw his defense last night with the Lions. He paid his dues all throughout the NFL coaching experience. He's got ties to Bill Parcells. He's got ties to Sean Payton. He was a first-round pick with the Jets, one of my favorite players of all time. But to me, it's like, can he come in and walk in as a first-time head coach and establish that culture and that winning mindset and hold guys accountable day one while still learning his NFL job as a head coach? Not so sure. Other names out there, you had the Ron Rivera was already interviewed. You have Matt Nagy's coming in. Guys that are less inspiring, but less inspiring. I know Vance Joseph was mentioned, and there's several people saying that he got a raw deal, a bad deal his first time as head coach. That he's a very well-prepared, very well-liked, intelligent, well-prepared coach that can, in his second stint, will get an opportunity. So if you're looking for a guy that's got experience, he fits the mold. And then, Rex Ryan, whatever, I can't take Rex seriously. His comments on the radio this morning were ridiculous, where he's like, well, I don't know who my staff is going to be. It takes time to do that. Bro, you've been out of the league 8 years. You've had nothing but time to prepare yourself and say, no, I have the guys that I want in place. I know who they are. So Rex is talking the big game, and that's probably the problem at this point, where talk less and do more. So I can't take him seriously. As of now, I don't know what's going on with Mike McCarthy. It's 3 o'clock in Jersey, so I don't know what's going on with him. But it's a comprehensive list. Josh McCown's on that list, which is interesting. I'd be more curious to see him like a Brian Flores, Josh McCown's offensive coordinator, kind of let him, climb the ranks that way. Brian Greasy with the 49ers, quarterbacks coach. You're curious to see some of these names on the list, like you have Joe Brady on it. A lot of people are very high on Joe Brady. Would be a first-time head coach, offensive guy, taking him from the Bills. It's kind of what your criteria is and what you're looking for. In terms of me, I'm not so locked down on he's got to be an offensive-minded coach. I want a great overall head coach, a CEO of the team, an excellent leader, a motivator, and a guy that can just manage a team and manage the hysteria that surrounds the New York Jets, the media, the fans, the losing, the dysfunction, can handle it all in a manner where the players respect him and he can maximize the potential of all these young players. You're seeing guys like Sauce Gardner talk today. You want a guy that comes in and says, you know what, I'm getting Sauce Gardner back to his all-pro potential. I want to make Jermaine Johnson a Pro Bowler. I want Garrett Wilson to be a superstar, to get the best out of everybody, not where you walk away at the end of the season like, the could has and should haves. But in the meantime, you want to see the back end of the roster and the mid-tier of the roster also improve too. So we'll see what happens. This, based on the amount of interviews the Jets have to do, this is going to be a long process, man. This is not going to be anything done anytime soon, probably 2 or 3 weeks. But it's encouraging. I think once we find out who the second interviews are, then things get interesting. I'll talk to you later.